Okay, so it seems like recently there's been a little bit of a crash out involving some, fan-made game developers to do with Hololive, right? And obviously, Hololive doesn't have too much to do with this, but essentially, the kind of thing that they do have about this is this kind of developer, Kevin Cow, is actually the lead developer of smugalana and also Age of Advent, which are two Hololive kind of fan games, right? And apparently, yeah, they have been having a mental breakdown over low engagement and making vague posts about Holo Indie and how it's a huge mistake. And he gets criticized so hard that he deactivates his Twitter account and then retreats to Blue Sky to rant about Hololive's toxic community. So essentially, yeah, they've been going after the Hololive community as they weren't happy with a lot of the kind of, I guess, whining of essentially low engagement with the games. Now, obviously, as I said, they made stuff like Age of Advent, which is up on Steam, as well as, smugalana, which obviously apparently was like one of the precursors to, creating the boom of indie games that we have seen in terms of Hololive games. And also, as we know, with the success of stuff like Holocure and things, another Hololive kind of based game, right? It actually started up like Steam publishers like Holo Indie, which is set up by Hololive to publish a lot of fan-made games and stuff, right? And that is essentially what they've been working with. That's how Age of Advent was published, and the developer was Kevin Cow, or obviously I think they call it that, like Mukau Games. And yeah, Hololive Indie, or Holo Indie, sorry, is here. And yeah, obviously, as they say, it's a game brand created by Cover Corp for Hololive fan games. The program was created after Cover noticed the massive success of games like Holocure and Idle Showdown in 2023, and they say the brand was created as a part of formation of Cover Corp's new subsidiary. And yeah, obviously they say here all of the games that they have helped to publish, and then obviously these are made by other people, right? These aren't, necessarily made by Hololive themselves. These are made by a lot of fans, a lot of developers that want to kind of work on a game, and they help them to publish it and get it out to places, right? Now, yeah, they've been essentially talking about this because apparently their games have been getting quite a lot of low interactions and stuff like that on Twitter. And obviously this is the first screenshot here saying, my profile says I have 2k followers, but it feels like 99% of them went back to Twitter, and my real number is closer to 20. I have a mutual who has about 2k, but I always immediately notice if he reposts me because his followers are actually active. I say I try not to obsess over engagement and metrics and stuff, but the following I built up with my Holo games is the one thing that made me think I was able to succeed as an indie dev. Now, I don't even have that anymore. I'm basically starting over from scratch. 1 million buttons has about 100 wish lists last I checked. A friend told me I'm supposed to be getting at least that every single week. I guess that's part of why I haven't really worked on it since October. Seems destined to fail if I can't generate interest, and I'm not sure what else I can do. So it feels like my only hope of success is that a big creator mutual decides to stream something I make, but I know from experience that's not something you can rely on, not even if they've told you directly that they plan on doing so. Now, obviously, that last bit there was something that sent a lot of people off, and I'm sure there's similar stuff over on the Twitter as well before it got kind of, taken down or whatever. Yeah, essentially, they are not very happy that they have, lost a lot of interest in them and their games. And I do think that obviously that is something that a lot of people struggle with, especially as creators, right? I can understand that as a content creator myself, and I think many other creators can kind of sympathize with the fact that numbers might not be doing so good at the moment, and maybe it doesn't seem like things are going to go your way. And obviously, sometimes there's ups and downs to that. Sometimes it's only down. Sometimes it's only up for some people, right? And that is just how it kind of works. But obviously, the last bit, they talk about the fact that, hey, if they have a big creator mutual that decides to stream something, then maybe it can give it a boost. And saying, like, I know it's something you can't rely on, not even if they told you directly that they plan on doing so. But again, I don't think it's the streamer's fault that they haven't streamed your game, right? I feel like, you got to do more to kind of ensure that your game does good, or continue to kind of persevere through that and make more games and interesting ones that they will stream and will be very hyped to do. Because again, I think that is essentially what it comes down to. And I think that obviously going over on Blue Sky and chatting about it, I think that's fine, but obviously maybe don't blame other streamers for this and everything like that, right? And then we can move on to some of the other stuff as well. Obviously, they say, for context, Kevin Cow was responsible for creating the hit game smugalana, which spawned a sizable speedrunning community, and is also considered one of the precursors for Hololive fan games, opening the floodgates for fan games to be made. He's also known to get very emotional and infamously tweeted out in 2021 a rant about how he wanted to delete smugalana because he was extremely bitter about Arme not hiring him for paid commissioned work. Obviously, they're talking about Amelia Watson there, if you guys don't know who they're talking about. And yeah, obviously, they were bitter essentially over the fact that, you know, they didn't pay him or whatever. Sorry, they didn't hire him, sorry, for commissioned work, which, you know, they don't owe you anything. They don't owe you anything at all, right? Of course, you make a fan game, and it's great whenever a VTuber interacts with your fan game that you have made for them, and, you know, that could be really great for you, but they never owe you anything in terms of commissioned work or anything like that. They say these tweets have been deleted prior to his account getting nuked. This would still follow him when he made a tweet in 2023 saying which seemed like he was praising fuwamoco's work ethic, but also snuck in a jab at, you know, Amelia Watson. They said it had also been deleted. They say prior to making the vague post tweet, he went on Blue Sky and ranted about his low metrics, citing that he had hoped that the following he had built from making Hololive fan games would make him succeed in becoming an indie dev. You can't find his vague tweet anymore since his account is gone, but searching for his name on Twitter still reveals some of the replies to his tweet. Interesting tidbits when going through his Blue Sky. Number 1. Kevin Cow was considering delisting Age of Advent. This isn't new, as he's attempted to try this in the past with smugalana. See first link I posted. They say he made a series of Blue Sky posts related to Age of Advent's first anniversary, mulling over the fact that no one from Advent had played his game. So they're saying essentially, you know, they were going through, you know, the first anniversary, and they were talking about the fact that, hey, no one from Advent that are included in this game, obviously all of these creators here, had actually played them, which, again, as I said, they don't owe you anything. They do not, you know, there's no, like, kind of obligation for them to play your game. Of course, you know, you would like them to. That's 100% a thing. But I think the real kind of problem here is you can't just expect them to play it, right? And I think that what you need to do is help to get it more popular, whether that is doing more advertising, whether that is doing updates to the game or whatever. Get it to a point where fans are talking about it, and then obviously they'll go, oh, okay, the fans actually kind of liking this, I'll go and stream that, and then obviously the streamers will stream it, right? I don't think there's no point in obviously whining about it or whatever over on your pages, because that's probably going to make them want to do it less, right? People aren't going to want to interact with someone that whines about people not playing their game, because, again, obviously I get it sucks, right? I get that, you know, you need them to kind of stream this to, you know, kickstart your career again or whatever. But at the end of the day, they're not obligated to, right? There's no actual kind of, I guess, contract or whatever stating that they need to play it or whatever. And, you know, they might not even know about it. So I don't think it's even their fault, right? They say number 3, it is worth noting that Kevin is a huge Holostars fan. They say this is important to note because he would occasionally sneak Holostars references in his game. Case in point, smugalana's final update was supposed to have a Kali themed stage, but was ultimately scrapped and somehow replaced with a Betel themed stage. And in Age of Advent, there's a lot of references to Betel, and some of the mini games, most notably, was We're About to Crash and Rideshare Rebellion. Some fans pointed this out, that this is most likely the reason why the talents have not played his game recently, not because Holostars aren't allowed to be in Holo ND, but because of the talent's preferences to not show Holostars in their streams. So yeah, obviously adding some stuff in there as well. They're essentially saying that, hey, not only is it a factor of maybe they haven't seen it, maybe they just don't want to, maybe it's not popular enough, but it's also the fact that they have some Holostars members in there, which they choose not to anyways. So again, you've kind of like screwed yourself over by including that in your game, because of course they're not going to stream it if they don't stream anything to do with Holostars, right? And I think that, you know, complaining about that instead of actually taking action and either A, removing them from the game or whatever, removing any of those references from the game and making it more appealing to them, you know, you instead just whine about it, right? And I'm not even saying you have to remove it, by the way. You can keep it, but obviously just don't complain whenever they don't play the game, because it is known that they do not like to include Holostars within their streams, right? And of course, you know, there's more tweets and stuff, people saying, don't work with Holo Indie, huge mistake. And obviously that is they're referring to Holo Indie as in the publishing company, which obviously might affect their relationship going forwards in the future, as well as this account does not exist, it's now gone. And people saying Hololive turned out to be have an absurdly toxic and horrible fan base. I'll leave my games up for now, but other than that, I'm cutting all ties with Hololive and its fandom. Oh, cool. The blank blank on Twitter are following me over here so they can keep harassing me and spreading lies. I don't believe I'll ever be able to do anything of value again. I've done the one thing of value in my life, and it's just made me miserable. I don't believe I'll ever be happy, and I don't think I ever deserve to be happy. I hate myself, and I'm so tired. They say, finally deleted my Twitter account. Generally nothing but stupid, hateful assholes left in the festering dumpster. Everyone who still regularly uses it deserves super COVID. Which again, obviously, they got a bit of backlash on Twitter, right? And now they're mad at Twitter as a platform because, they got backlash for pretty, good reasons, to be fair. I'm not saying like they deserve harassment or anything, but, people can always, put in their own points and counterpoints into whether, VTubers should be obligated to play their game or not, because obviously they shouldn't, right? And I think a lot of people that have been calling that out, they're totally right? They're allowed to call it out. A lot of people have been saying, this reminds me of what IML said during the Super Eyepatch Wolf interview, don't obsess over numbers, it will eat you alive, which again is 100% true. And we've seen that with many cases, not just in VTubing, outside of VTubing as well. The whole Mizkif drama, right? That was pretty crazy, and a lot of that was involving numbers. Whenever he got upset at things, it was involving his stream numbers and how people were doing better than him. And the same goes for a lot of VTuber instances as well. People obsess over numbers and nothing else, and it ends up being their downfall, right? So again, obviously that is 100% true. People saying this is the problem I've seen with a few of these artists, to be honest. Like, for one, don't go making anything fan related with a damn expectation of any talent will do something with it. They do not owe you to play the game just because you decided to make it. But I've seen a lot of people talk about how they don't have much engagement or don't have any replies or retweets. 9 times out of 10, they do nothing to garner said engagement. For instance, this person, he made Age of Advent, I think decently well received game, and then just imagines people will wishlist his new game just because. That is how it works for most. How the only person in the Hololive game scene I can see working for would be Caillou, who has been incredibly lucky that his honestly very good game, don't get me wrong, gained attention from so many people. That and Blue Sky just isn't really growing as people hoped it would. It is not a viable alternative to Twitter, which 100% is true, right? You can't be complaining about engagement and then posting on Blue Sky. Blue Sky has one of the smallest audiences. You could be like a massive content creator and you would be able to get like nowhere near the amount of engagement that you would get on Twitter or other platforms, right? And I think that, complaining about engagement while actively using Blue Sky as your main kind of platform is stupid, right? It is dumb. It is the worst decision you can make as someone that is trying to grow. And obviously, I understand that they left because they were being, they were getting a lot of backlash from a lot of the stuff that has been going on, right? But still, expecting to get like all of this engagement and all of these fans coming over from Blue Sky, it's just not going to be the case. And obviously they say my profile has 2K followers, right? A lot of those people probably followed during the big boom whenever Blue Sky first had that big trend, right? Whenever people started joining and following people. And I think that's what's happened to a lot of people, right? They joined Blue Sky, went, oh yeah, this is an alternative, and then they forgot about it. They went back to Twitter and completely forgot. That's why you got so many followers, but less kind of interactions. And the people that he's saying that, for example, reposting and giving him extra likes and things, and they have an active fan base, is probably because they're regularly using Blue Sky and they're regularly getting kind of not new users, but like current users of Blue Sky that are actually active on the site on their page, compared to a ton of people that have come over and just kind of followed someone and then just left the site and not really interacted at all, right? So again, I do think complaining about engagement and being on Blue Sky is, a little bit of an odd one, because, you're not going to get much engagement on Blue Sky, unfortunately. And as it goes for a lot of the VTubing side of things, and, are VTubers obligated to play the game? No, they are not. And I think that anybody that has a mind to do that, it is just stupid, right? I think that, you're just dumb if you think that every single VTuber has to play every game you make. And also as well, they're talking about the fact that, hey, they're not doing so good in terms of the amount of people that are coming over, right? They're saying, I see a lot of people talking about how they don't have much engagement, or they don't have replies or retweets or whatever. And I think that, this is the case of like, you know, you don't really say that. This is something that you don't say, you know, on your social media, because of course everybody goes through low points, whether you're a game developer, a content creator, or whatever. Everybody goes through low points, as I said, you know, earlier in the video. But the thing is, you don't just go onto Twitter and complain about it. You actually do something about it, right? And I think that is the big difference in terms of a lot of people and whether they make it, right? You know, because again, you could, you know, argue on Twitter and Blue Sky all you want, saying that, you know, people aren't following me enough, people aren't engaging enough. But the actual thing is, that's not going to do anything. If anything, that draws people away. People don't want to interact with someone that constantly complains about their engagement or their viewership. People want to interact with someone that is continuously putting out content that they like to see, and not just someone whining on a random Blue Sky page, right? And I think that is the case, right? And whenever it comes to me, for example, whenever it comes to making videos, of course, not every single one of my videos does absolutely amazingly or how I'd expect it to. But I don't just go into a community post and say, why are you guys not engaging enough? I can't believe I'm not getting enough engagement. I go, okay, fair enough. What did I do wrong? What did I do right? And then I go make a new video. And then guess what? That video does better. And then we go, okay, now we're going in the right direction. And then you repeat, you know, you keep going and you keep going and you keep going and you keep going. And that should be the same kind of mentality for a lot of game developers as well, that are looking to release their next big game. Not every single game is going to be a big hit. Not every single person is going to be going into, you know, your whole discography of games and trying to play every single one you've made. You've got to make them want to play it. And obviously, yeah, of course, maybe, you know, one game won't be a hit or whatever. One game won't do as good. But that's just when you got to go, okay, well, what did they dislike about it? What did people not enjoy? What was not catching enough? Eye-catching enough, sorry. And, you know, how can I improve that for the next game that I'm going to make? But obviously, you know, what they've decided to do here is just complain about it and call the Hololive fan base toxic, when I think it is just completely stupid, right? And yeah, as I said, you just got to keep going. That's essentially what you got to do. But obviously, a lot of people do like to take the other option, which is just, again, whining about it and just kind of complaining about it, which I do think is just stupid, right? And as I said, I you know, obviously content creation, I feel like is much easier than, you know, creating a game. I can understand that creating a game does take a lot longer than making a YouTube video like this one, right? But I think that obviously the same concept still applies for like over a longer amount of time. Of course, you won't be able to upload like a new video the next day and find out whether people have enjoyed it more. But I think that is just one of the, you know, issues, or not issues, but one of the kind of challenges that comes with being a game developer. Sometimes you have to wait to see, you know, whether the next game is going to do good or not. And if it doesn't, well, you're going to have to wait even longer for the next one. And, you know, you're going to have to improve on the last one you made. But again, overall, I just think this, you know, thing is stupid. I think that if you're expecting these people to play your games, if you're expecting the Hololive members to play your games, you know, don't, you know, if you're an artist or if you're a game developer or whatever, and you're expecting, you know, someone of a fan made thing that you have made to play it, you know, you're definitely in it for, I guess, not the wrong reasons, but you're going to be very disappointed, just like this person right here, if you are doing it for that reason. Now, of course, it is a massive bonus and it is a massive, I guess, win if that is the case, and they do play it. Great, you know, that's awesome, right? But that shouldn't be the thing on the forefront of your mind. That should be an afterthought. That should be like, oh, what if they do play it? That'd be cool. And if they don't, you know, that's not a big deal. As long as it does good, or even if it doesn't do good, you just go on to the next game. You go on to the next thing. You go on to next whatever you want to do. And yeah, obviously, then it kind of works out. But yeah, I mean, that is essentially all there is for this situation. I just kind of wanted to cover it because I thought it was pretty crazy, especially blaming a lot of the Hololive fans for this. It's not their fault at all, of course. They're going to be pretty mad if you're going to be expecting their members to be essentially, you know, playing these games or whatever. It's stupid. But yeah, as I said, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kaza, get 10% off again. They've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.